Ladies and gentlemen, look here. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm going to say it with my chest. Stop explaining yourself to demons in people. Yeah, I said it. Demons. Now, don't go getting spooky on me. I ain't talking about red tails and pitchforks. I'm talking about that energy in people, jealousy, bitterness, envy, hate, that shows up wearing a smile but praying for your fall behind your back. Stop seeking validation from people committed to misunderstanding you. This is the truth. We often ignore because we crave acceptance, especially from those closest to us. But here's the hard reality. Some people will never see you clearly, not because you're hard to understand, but because they've already made the decision not to. They've built a version of you in their mind that fits their comfort zone, their insecurities, and their limited understanding. And anything that challenges that, your growth, your healing, your elevation, it threatens them. You keep trying to explain yourself, to clarify your intentions, to make them see your heart. You rewrite texts, rehearse conversations, and replay moments in your head, wondering if you could have said it better. But what you're really doing is giving CPR to a connection that flatlined a long time ago. Because if someone is committed to misunderstanding you, it doesn't matter how kind, articulate, or honest you are, they will twist your truth to fit their lie. This happens in friendships, relationships, even families. You chase approval trying to prove you're not what they assume, hoping that one day they'll finally get it. But you've got to understand, validation from people like that is like trying to get water from a dry well. It's not coming. Not because you're unworthy, but because their perspective is too poisoned to see you properly. Sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about the lens they're looking through, cracked by their own wounds, fogged by their own bitterness, darkened by their own fears. And you can't fix their lens. That's not your job. Your job is to be true to yourself, walk in your purpose, and stop shrinking just to fit into spaces that don't want you to grow. When you try to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you give them power over your peace. You give them front row seats to your vulnerability, and they misuse it. They weaponize it. They make you doubt what you know God confirmed in you. Your vision wasn't a group message. Stop asking for consensus. When something powerful is placed in your spirit, it's often delivered in silence, in solitude, in moments where no one else is watching or listening. That's because the vision is yours, not theirs. But the mistake many people make is thinking that in order for a dream to be real, others have to agree with it, co-sign it, or celebrate it. That's not how purpose works. Purpose doesn't need applause. Vision doesn't need permission. You were given something sacred, an idea, a calling, a shift, and instead of running with it, you hesitated. Why? Because the people around you didn't see it. They didn't get excited. They looked at you like you were crazy. And maybe that shook you. Maybe that made you doubt yourself. But here's the truth. They weren't supposed to get it. They didn't receive the message because it wasn't sent to them. It was delivered directly to you, tailored, specific, divine. People love to play it safe. They like what they can touch, what they can measure, what they can explain. Vision doesn't work like that. Vision is about what could be, not what already is. And when you try to break that down for people who are stuck in the now, who fear the unknown, or who are secretly intimidated by your boldness, they'll dismiss you, not because the vision isn't good, but because it challenges their comfort. And so what do? You shrink, you hold back, you wait for consensus. You look for a green light from people who haven't even started driving toward their own destiny. And meanwhile, your vision sits on the shelf, not because it lacked power, but because you handed it to people who didn't know what to do with it. You've got to stop explaining what was whispered in your spirit to people who only believe in loud approval. Everyone won't see it. Everyone won't clap. Everyone won't cheer you on. Some people will call it impossible. Some will call it silly. Some will call it selfish. But what they call it doesn't matter. What matters is that you were chosen to carry it. Demonic energy thrives on your insecurity. Starve it with silence. When you walk into a room with light in your eyes and peace in your spirit, not everyone is going to like it. Some people are so consumed by their own darkness that your presence irritates their demons. And instead of dealing with their own reflection, they'll try to dim yours. They'll poke, prod, and provoke, hoping you'll break character, hoping you'll slip into defensiveness, into anger, into chaos, because that's the environment where their demons are comfortable. The moment you start doubting yourself, question your worth, explaining your choices to people who have no business in your journey, you open the door. That insecurity becomes fuel. You think you're being humble, but you're feeding something that wants to see you unravel. You're giving energy to an enemy that doesn't fight fair. It doesn't come with horns, it comes with fake concern, with backhanded compliments, with fake concern, with spiritual manipulation disguised as advice. And what does it want? It wants a reaction. It wants your energy. It wants to drag you back to the version of yourself that didn't know any better. It wants your old wounds, your old triggers, your old silence that once begged to be understood. But when you choose not to respond, when you choose silence rooted in strength, not fear, you starve the thing that came to feed. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're arrogant. They'll say you think you're better. That's the bait. That's the lure. But if you take it, you'll end up performing for an audience that's already decided they're against you. You'll be pouring your spirit out for people who bring nothing to your table but appetite and criticism. Silence is not weakness when it's rooted in knowing who you are. Sometimes silence is strategy. It's protection. It's wisdom. When your spirit knows it's being poked by something unholy, your words are not the weapon, your restraint is. Your peace is a boundary. Your non-reaction is a wall they can't climb. Demonic energy wants chaos, confusion, noise. It wants drama. It wants spectacle. It wants you to lose focus, to spiral, to doubt. Growth doesn't require explanation, only execution. You don't need to draft speeches, hold meetings, or get everyone's permission before you level up. Growth is personal. It's internal, it's spiritual, and far too often we slow down our own progress trying to make sure everyone around us is comfortable with who we're becoming. We overtalk, we overjustify. We try to soften our transformation so it doesn't offend the people still stuck in the same cycles. But real growth doesn't ask for company. It doesn't wait for a round of applause. It doesn't beg to be understood. Growth shows up quietly at first. An urge, a discomfort, a restlessness in your spirit, and then it demands action. Not conversation, not consensus, just movement, execution. A decision to become more, even when it confuses the people who knew the older version of you. People will ask questions. They'll wonder why you don't show up like you used to, why your energy shifted, why your priorities change. And the truth is, you don't owe them a memo. You don't have to break down your healing process like a PowerPoint. Because those who get it won't need an explanation. And those who don't want to get it wouldn't believe it if you gave them one. Execution is the language of growth. It speaks louder than words, louder than apologies, louder than justification. When you stop showing up for every argument, stop entertaining every criticism, stop watering down your dreams to match someone else's fear, that's execution. That's maturity. That's you choosing forward over familiar. The people who matter will adjust. The ones who respect your process won't demand access to every step. They'll support you in silence, cheer for you from afar, and let you grow without guilt. But the ones who feel entitled to your stagnation, they'll complain, they'll gossip, they'll try to shame you back into your old skin. And that's how you know you're doing it right. Growth makes people uncomfortable, especially when it exposes their own refusal to evolve. But your job isn't to explain their discomfort away. Your job is to keep building, keep rising, keep becoming everything you were designed to be. Let your results speak. Let your life testify. Let your presence shift the room without saying a word. You're not on trial for choosing peace and purpose, but you think you were, the way some people interrogate your every move when you start putting yourself first. They question your silence, your distance, your boundaries, as if your healing is some kind of crime against their comfort. But let's get one thing straight. You do not owe anyone a defense for choosing what's best for your soul. You're not here to make everyone comfortable while you crumble on the inside. Some people benefited from your chaos. They liked you when you were broken, confused, unsure of yourself. They felt powerful when you needed them to feel whole. But the moment you decided that peace was more important than approval, the moment you stopped performing for applause and started walking in purpose, they took offense. And that's not your burden to carry. That's not your guilt to absorb. You're not selfish for walking away from dysfunction. You're not wrong for saying no more often. You're not mean for choosing your mental health over toxic loyalty. You're not cold for refusing to explain your every step to people who never respected your path in the first place. You are not obligated to sacrifice your well-being just to keep broken systems and broken people comfortable. Purpose has a price. Peace has a cost. And sometimes that cost is relationships, connections, and opinions you thought mattered. But when your spirit is tired of being on trial, tired of defending, explaining, apologizing for simply becoming who you're supposed to be, you reach a new level of freedom. That's when you realize you don't have to prove anything to anyone who's not doing the work to grow themselves. People will talk, they'll assume, they'll mislabel your silence as arrogance, your absence as betrayal, your change as disrespect. That's part of the process. But what they think of you has nothing to do with the truth you live in. You don't need to argue your case to people who are already committed to misunderstanding your motives. You don't need to stand in the courtroom of public opinion every time you take a step toward your purpose. Peace is the verdict. Purpose is the calling. That's your answer. That's enough. Some demons need distance, not dialogue. There are people in your life who don't need another conversation, another chance, or another explanation. They need space. And not the kind of space you fill back up in a week when you start to feel guilty. real permanent distance, because not everything can be fixed with a heart-to-heart. Not everyone is interested in resolution. Some people are fueled by conflict, by confusion, by access to your emotions. And the more you try to talk it out, the more you feed the very thing you're trying to escape. You think you're being mature by keeping the door open, trying to end things on good terms, trying to make sure nobody feels uncomfortable. But maturity also means recognizing when closure is a trap. It means seeing that some conversations are just disguised manipulation, designed to pull you back into cycles you already outgrew. Every text doesn't deserve a reply. Every call doesn't need to be answered. Every opinion doesn't require a rebuttal. Distance is not disrespect. It's not cruelty. It's clarity. It's self-respect. It's realizing that your peace is not up for negotiation. When someone consistently drains you, belittles you, provokes you, or dismisses your boundaries, they are not entitled to your presence. You don't have to explain why you need space. You don't have to justify your absence. You don't have to write a dissertation on why you chose yourself this time. Some people will never meet you with honesty. They'll twist your words, weaponize your kindness, and pretend to misunderstand just to keep you stuck in a loop. And no amount of talking will heal what their spirit refuses to confront. So instead of another round of emotional tug-of-war, let them go. Let them talk to the echo of their own choices. Let them wrestle with the silence you leave behind. You are not abandoning anyone by choosing distance. You are protecting your peace from energy that refuses to grow. You are making room for your healing to take root without interference. Some demons don't need your explanation, your empathy, or your grace. They just need to lose access to you completely.